On February 15th, 423 AD, a law was issued from the court of the Roman Christian Emperor Theodosius II, which from that day forward prohibited Jewish communities throughout the Eastern Mediterranean from building new synagogues. In the future, the law states, no synagogues shall be constructed, and the old ones shall remain in their present condition. This law was just one of several laws of the time that were meant to increasingly restrict the social and cultural agency of Jewish communities throughout the recently Christianized Roman Empire. While Judaism was never outlawed by imperial authorities, it was nevertheless portrayed as deviant, foreign, and therefore dangerous to the stability of the Roman political establishment. Many Jewish people were eventually barred from public service. Some were forced to convert to Christianity, and some synagogues were forcefully turned into churches. The picture we get from some of these legal sources of imperial oppression of Jewish communities, oppression that was especially focused on their synagogues, is mirrored in some of the literature produced by anti-Jewish Christian theologians of the time. While certainly not true of all Christian writers, some did indeed paint cruel and hostile portraits of synagogues in their writings in order to express their hateful and highly derogatory views of Jews and Judaism as a whole. For example, one well-known Christian preacher from this time named John Chrysostom described the synagogue as a brothel, a den of robbers, and as a lodging for wild beasts. His goal, of course, was to stigmatize these buildings and the Jewish people who used them so that his own Christian congregants would stay as far away from them as possible. As history, even very recent history, has shown us, words matter, especially when they are uttered from positions of power. And the 5th century AD was really no different. Hateful words had hateful impacts in the ancient world too, as some ancient Christians, inspired by violent words, were moved to violent actions, in some cases even burning synagogues to the ground. Because words matter, whether they are expressed in laws, literature, or liturgy, we should also remember that words can be resisted and rejected. And this is precisely what we see some Jewish communities doing in the 5th century AD in relation to Christian anti-Judaism. For example, despite the ban on building new synagogues issued from the emperor on February 15, 423, Jewish communities across the Eastern Mediterranean did exactly that. They built new synagogues. And not only did they build new synagogues, they built big, beautiful, and richly decorated synagogues. Some were outfitted with elaborately designed polychrome mosaic floors depicting scenes from the Bible, while others were decorated with finely carved sculptures of Jewish symbols and animal or plant life. Taken together, these buildings spoke their own kind of language as they protested imperial power through the medium of built space. At a time of ever-increasing legal and political restriction, a time when social change could not come through the spoken word, Jewish communities built their grand synagogues as part of a resistive strategy in which their social vibrancy, collective identity, and cultural agency could be expressed in real time and space. As such, these buildings represent the strength and resilience and resourcefulness of the ancient Jewish communities who built and used them, as they made bold statements about their visibility and their presence. More generally, the history of ancient synagogues can serve as a reminder to us of our impulse as humans to be creative even when we're told not to be, of our right to claim our own sense of self even when power seeks to diminish that claim, and of our need for community in our attempt to build better futures for ourselves and those around us. My name is Wally Cirafesi at the Center for Theology and Religious Studies at Lund University. Thank you for listening.